Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahira binti Abdul Rahman and my metric number A17A0537. Today we want to present about our assignment, which is the title of the article we choose is Halal Economic Challenges and Emerging Opportunities in Malaysia. Now I will explain about the introduction. In this era of globalization, halal is no longer in doubt as it offers a variety of existing opportunities in a business perspective. Previously, halal value and principle were only used in the food and beverage sector, but now they are increasing in awareness of consumer and entrepreneurs for new market opportunities has expanded into the pharmaceutical, cosmetic and personal care sectors. Therefore, this industry competes and strives to seize a unique consumer segment with values, ethics and trust because Malaysia is the main driver of the halal industry. Halal integrity must be well maintained in terms of product processes as well as supply chains such as warehousing, transportation and logistics. According to LADA 2010, consumers nowadays are more concerned about halal matters and they expect the final product to be safe to eat. The Malaysian government is focused on improving halal products in making Malaysia as an international halal hub in line with this development. One of the best achievements was when the Malaysian halal certification designed to meet the halal goods sector was named the best in the world for the halal food benchmark by the United Nations in 1997. Malaysia has developed a special zone to attract many foreign and local investment to conduct food processing and production business when it wants to be a major hub for halal food production. Malaysia has also succeeded in introducing a halal system that has gained international recognition as well as becoming a well-known Islamic country that fights for the right of Muslims. The country's success in leading the development of the halal system in the food sector should be fully utilized by the traders, especially small entrepreneurs involved in the food beverage business. They are the backbone of the country's industrial base. The government has provided many plans, programs and assistance as well as fully supported the growth of the small enterprise. According to Khalid Nurin 2009, among others, the establishment of government such as Development Corporation for Small and Medium Enterprise, Ministry of Entrepreneur Development, policy plan such as Industry Master Plan, implementation of programs such as vendor development programs, and establishment of various entrepreneurial funds and venture capital. There is definitely a very difficult area for business and entrepreneurs hit. Different factors including management skill, expert employees, strong financial capital, goods and service are crucial to achieve market success. And most important thing is many loyal customers. This document aims to identify the challenge and strategies for players in the industry with a view to achieving a high environmental sensitivity. In order to make Malaysia a center for halal, the government should take these opportunities to detect the types of products that attract goods market. Now, I will pass to my others group members. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wana Atika binti Wan Abdullah. I will present about the problem statement in this issue. There are several problems that the halal industry need to be faced and resolved to become an international halal hub of halal industry in the Islamic economy. First of all, the halal guidelines that are not clear to the movers of Islamic economy, which is the traders in various industries in Malaysia. The business organization will do the things that are contrary to Islamic practice if they are not provided in-depth explanation of halal guideline. These guidelines should be clear on the production, preparation, handling, and storage of a product in all industry to comply with Malaysian halal certification. The business organisation will produce products that do not comply with the Islamic Sharia and that can destroy consumer confidence if the guidelines are not clear. It will affect on the Islamic economy in Malaysia. Second, the lack of international halal certification. The Islamic economy in Malaysia may not grow if there is no activity to export and import the halal products. The business organisation need an internationally recognized halal certification to access the export and import activities of products and services. If the international halal certification is difficult to obtain, it is likely that the export and import activities of halal products and services will be reduced. Third, the lack of supply of halal raw material. In Malaysia, there occurs a shortage of high quality, especially meat product to processed food. That is why Malaysia are often imported from abroad. This causes doubt that arise about products imported from abroad whether it is processed in halal way or not. This situation makes it difficult for many parties, especially importers, which is food business organisation, because they need to obtain a halal certification for import products. The government bodies that manage halal certification also need to seriously ensure that the imported product meet the halal characteristic before give halal certification to this business organisation. Lastly, the lack of cooperation between government agencies and governing bodies such as the Malaysian Islamic Development Department, which is JAKIM, and the Halal Industry Development Corporation. If there is no cooperation between these bodies to monitoring the manufacturers from various industries, they will produce products that are harmful for consumer. These two bodies need to work together to set up a logo that indicates that the product released has passed the research process and it is safe for distribution and use by consumer. This can make it easier for all parties to know that a product produced has received halal recognition from JAKIM and the relevant bodies. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azri and my matric number is A17A0229 and I will present part literature review. Our group issue is challenges faced by the halal industry in Malaysia, and it is important to address this issue to ensure the growth of halal industry in Malaysia. The world's Muslim population is estimated to grow to 2.2 billion by 2030, and halal industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. It refers to industry in accordance with Islamic principles and requirements. The aim of this industry is to provide products and services that are compliant with the teaching of Islam. The Department of Standard Malaysia developed guidelines for the production, preparation, handling and storage of halal products. However, these guidelines are general, such that a single guideline can have various interpretations. It is important for guide to be clear to ensure the halal product's integrity. The absence of any viable international schemes to accredit halal certification bodies has long been a problem for the halal industry. Halal certification has been widely recognized as a core factor in the international expansion of halal firm. Moreover, the occurrence of lack collaboration among governing agencies is also because of inefficiency of halal certification process and the conflict of authority and governance between the federal government and the state governments. Furthermore, to increase cooperation among agencies, especially in terms of implementation and enforcement of the halal policy, by looking at the implementation issues in Malaysia. As such, collaboration between JAKIM, HDC and LSP is essential for establishing reasonable and applicable standard. Regarding to lack of supply of halal raw material, usually a company in various sector in halal industry gets their raw material supply that will go through a system called supply chain. Each channel member must be aware and have knowledge about the halal requirement to ensure the halal status of any product or raw materials from point of origin is still halal when it reaches the consumers. Therefore, it is recommended for managers, traders and halal producers to consider the supplier's capability to deliver raw material which complies with halal guidelines, and this may avoid emergency sourcing. Thank you, that's all from me.
The next part is about legislation. Legislation is the preparing and enacting of law. First, the issue that our group will touch is about halal guideline that follow the Contract Act 1956, Sale of Goods Act 1957, and Consumer Protection Act 1999. This contract emphasizes the existence of contract. These legislations be applied to ensure the guideline comes out very clearly. Next, we will talk about the lack of requirement of halal certification. It was related to the Trade Inspections Act 2011. This act is under the jurisdiction of KPDKKN and has empowered to appoint this issue to get halal certificate. Besides about lack of cooperation between body agency. As we know, in Malaysia, the HDC and JAKIM has a good cooperation with Malaysian Development Standard. It is want to develop halal issue including halal food production.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nasuna Ibn Umainu. My matric number is A1780215. Today I want to talk about feature of the subject issue. Okay, first is achieving its effort. The halal guidelines that are not clear to the overall of the Islamic economy. It is because many organizations that produce such halal standards are private organizations. The certificate issued to ensure that it meets all the requirements by it led adjustment as well as being able to increase the cost incurred. The Malaysia Halal certificate must comply with other qualifications and comply with the most well-known and sustainable GAP and GSA standard to further increase in caliber. Okay, next, we face to achieve its effort a lack of international halal certification. The main idea to ensure that supplier is good to eat to all give customer in better quality. With this, quality and welfare assurance can be improved to in-term demand for product. Countries that have effectively produced halal certificate need to meet the growing need of Muslim consumers around the world, such as Australia and New Zealand. Not only that, there is a lack of supply of halal raw material. Thus, a significant increase in supplier in certain Muslim majority. Though about halal compliance, a halal raw material worldwide were not transferred to support and qualified halal certification. The parties involved have not yet received halal certification due to limited halal standard. Okay, the Islamic financial system has evolved at a faster rate than conventional financial system as a result of the response of some financial institutions to adopt a strategy of piloting Islamic finance at the group level. In line with the mature Islamic financial industry in Malaysia, the industry evolved continue to focus on strengthening the basic value of Islamic finance, aiming a fully realize the benefit Sharia principle underlying Sharia compliant financial service. Okay, thank you. That's all for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fauzan bin Abdul Wahab. So now I will continue to present our discussion today, which is the ethic in halal industry that relate to the issue. So first we talk about the halal food. Okay, halal food in Islam we emphasis of cleanliness and purification in food. This is does not only enrich in the origin and ingredients of food, but also depend very much on the practice by food handlers while preparing and handling food. So those who are involved in food preparation, processing, handling, packaging, labeling, distributions, and service are committed to maintain high a standard of their personal sanitation and food hygiene, because the Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith riwayat Muslim, an-nazafatu minal iman, the cleanliness is half of faith. Hadith riwayat Muslim. So in Malaysia, to produce the halal food, they have a department or body that we call JAKIM, Jabatan Agama Kemajuan Islam JAKIM, that control the food handlings in company or marketers and so on. So they will make sure the food is clean, and the most important thing, the food was halal to all Muslim and people in Malaysia especially. So now the second point is pharmaceutical product. So when we talk about the pharmaceutical product, there is also a Malaysia standard for pharmaceutical known as halal pharmaceutical, general guidelines to produce halal pharmaceutical product. It is the most current Malaysia standard introduced by the Department Standard of Malaysia in 2010, which stands for Malaysia Standard 2010. This standard was developed in the Malaysia Standard Development System under the wing of Department of Standardizations Malaysia, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation of Malaysia, to provide guidelines for product in preparing and handling halal product. So to advance halal drug items, there is a need to construct a stage for conservation between the immediate and advanced partners for halal pharmaceutical product. Primary stakeholder who should directly be involved in the applications of halal pharmaceutical products are manufacturer, local or international, doctor, nurse and patients. The manufacturer is responsible to ensure that the manufacturer pharmaceutical product meet or exceed the required standard of safety and performance. Secondary stakeholder cover the responsibility carried by the policymaker. They include Good Manufacturing GMP Department of Islamic Development Malaysia JAKIM, and also researcher. Okay, so third, we talk about the tourism. In Islam, provide guidelines in every corner of human life. Tourism is vital segments of most of the economy, is not an exception. In the Islamic point of view, the term halal tourism can justify by the integrating and adopting the definition of halal. Halal tourism is responsible to deliver travel package and all the products and service according to the need of the traveler, especially Muslim consumer. So, some of the responsible production of halal travel industry that address the need of consumer halal food. Muslim-friendly hotels and the beach resort airlines, theme park, halal tourism package, healthcare, takaful medical, insurance, travel agency, digital application and so on. So halal tourism also ensure providing halal food and beverage which are healthy and quality by the definition of halal. It provides advanced healthcare treatment which is aligned with the Islamic value and need by Muslim also. So this is the ethic in tourism. And the last I want to talk about the animal in halal industry. So halal slaughter requires the animal must be alive and healthy and dispatched with a quick cut to the throat with a sharp knife. This is the adab, or we call the or we can call that ethics, also ethics or adab in Islam must be have to Muslim individual before we slaughter or we cut the throat off with a sharp knife to the animal. This is method that allows the blood to drain from the carcass. Killing without ordering an animal unsocious in cruel, argue animal rights campaigners. The halal industry tends to focus too much on how animals die rather than on how they live. Halal certification audits may focus on the details of whether there is alcohol in the hand, sanitizers, abattoirs or use of the unlawed bliss dead, which has the pre-slaughter prayer written on it rather than having in panache for each individual animal. So the Quran commands Muslim to eat of what is in the earth lawful and wholesome, but too often. Therefore, in animal halal industry, describe on both produce of safety and hygiene and halal and halal tayyibah, or Malaysia Halal Meat Supply Chains and JAKIM 2011 and GSMO of the GCC countries more focused on halal and tayyibah in slaughterings, ruminants and their meat processing. No guideline is jointly focused on welfare and halal and tayyibah. So that's all from me. Thank you.
The definition of wakalah is the appointment of a person to take someone's place and represent him to perform a task on his behalf, such as making agreements, giving and collecting debts, while the person represented is still alive. This contract authorizes the representative or agent to carry out work on behalf of the persons he represents. The concept of wakalah or representation is required according to the provisions outlined by Islam, and it applies in various matters of human life, whether it touches the rights of Allah or related to human rights. The existence of the concept of representation is very important to human beings, where it is very widely practiced in their daily affairs. For example, today, various activities that occur in trade matters involving investment activities, stock purchase, business, and so on. With the concept of this wakalah, the problem about the halal guidelines that are not clear to the move of the Islamic economy, namely the traders found in various industries in Malaysia, lack of international halal certification, and the lack of cooperation between government agencies and governing bodies can be applied. The problem that lack of supply of halal raw materials can use Bai al-Salam contract. Bai al-Salam is defined as selling something that is delayed immediately or selling something that is deemed to be dependent, that is, by prioritizing the price and delaying the goods for a period. In other words, it submits an existing exchange for an exchange whose nature is determined by the dependent up to a period. There are 4 pillars in Bai al-Salam, namely, the party that binds the agreement, ijab and kabul, capital or price, and goods that book. There are 2 conditions, namely the goods condition and the price condition. Besides, acceptable items for Bai al-Salam are items that can be weighed, measured and counted. By Jumhur, all items that clear except those that cannot be determined by scales, measurements and so on. Hanafi. Animals and food, Maliki and Shafi'i, and the last is cannot be traded for animals, germs and land by Hanafi. Therefore, the sellers need to enter into a contract to sell raw materials and state in detail about the raw materials in addition to producing raw materials that follow Islamic Sharia, namely halalan thayyiban. If the seller nowadays can use the Bai al-Salam contract, then the production of halal raw materials can be increased.
My name is Nana Joy binti Mat Saleh. I will explain part recommendation and conclusion. First, recommendation management system. The organization that are directly involved in the management of this halal industry are JAKIM and HDC. JAKIM Halal Hub Division to manage and oversee aspect of halal certification and compliance, while HDC plays a role in expanding the growth of the halal industry internationally. Other organizations that play a supporting role are based on their own authority. With this, the halal industry will be easy to obtain halal certificate from JAKIM. Second recommendation is about educational and aware efforts. Government agency take proactive steps to increase the knowledge and user of manufacturer and consumer of Thayyiban and halal certification concept and interests. Consumer will be benefit because they will be more confident to buy and use products that have a halal mark and are certified by JAKIM. Efforts to educate and raise awareness about it should be done through school education programs, halal exhibition, mass media campaigns, and social activities. In addition, government agencies such as JAKIM and HDC distribute leaflets related to halal and industry certificate by disseminating information to interested people and manufacturers. It also provides a comprehensive knowledge management center on its premise for those interested in obtain information on the halal industry. And the last recommendation is about development of manpower and expertise in the halal industry. The growth of the halal industry is increasing and there is a high demand for manpower needs in various aspects related to halal in order to sustain demand in the industry, including public relation and marketing activities, the promotion and development of the capacity of halal advisor or consultant, halal slaughter supervisor, and halal executive for the company. There are two facets of the halal workforce. First, the employees of the organization responsible for certification and compliance. Industrial manpower in the halal industry is required. Second, there is a lack of public awareness of the halal definition. There are several areas that need to be created. Okay, the conclusion, the halal industry is rising, increasing and gaining attention among industry players. It's global. The completeness of the industry, which has been incorporated into all industry, make it an interesting niche for business to invest in, as the possibilities are limitless. Going forward, the halal industry is expected to stay on this road as it gains more interest and visibility worldwide. The participation of governments and private sector contributes to the sustainability of the halal ecosystem through certification by religious authorities, and the implementation of policy is crucial to boost the halal industry. As a leader in the halal industry, the Malaysian government must be seriously involved in the preparation, growth and facilitation of the industry in order to enable participants to be part of this halal ecosystem. Thank you.